The iPhone 17 Pro could get 3 huge camera upgrades. Here is what we know. The iPhone 17 Pro cameras could receive better, variable zoom, a new button, and a revamped app. Enormous changes could be coming to the iPhone 17 Pro's camera system, according to a tip sent to Mac Rumors. The facts in question presumably come from someone involved in crafting a promo for the iPhone 17 Pro, showing off numerous new camera functions. First up, the iPhone 17 Pro will supposedly provide up to 8x optical zoom. Currently, the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max provide 5x telephoto zoom cameras. And if that wasn't enough, the iPhone 17 Pro's lens will be adjustable, allowing enable for continuous optical zoom below the 8x maximum. Most rival phones like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra or Pixel 9 Pro offer up to 5x zoom. So going up to 8x would put the 2018 iPhones firmly in the lead. As for movable zoom, this is something we've only seen on a handful of phones, like Sony Xperia 1 series. If that wasn't enough of a hardware update, then the next part of the report is that Apple will also be adding a second camera control button. This supposedly lies on the top edge of the iPhone 17 Pro and enables users access the camera and camera settings. This isn't a replacement for the one added to the right side of the iPhone 16 series, so probably has at least some separate functionality. Lastly, the report states Apple will also add a new Pro Camera app, either in the form of a greatly upgraded Final Cut Camera app or a wholly original one. Final Cut Camera doesn't come pre-installed on iPhones like some other phones with Pro Camera apps do. But perhaps Apple will want to place this new app front and center if it's going to be a significant focus for this year's debut. As a bonus, the leaker claims that the iPhone 17 Pro will come in a copper-like hue and features a relocated Apple logo on its rear. This is supposed to account for the alleged bigger camera block we've seen in renders and mock pictures. So many camera upgrades, I can't focus. It is not often we at TG are taken aback by a smartphone rumor, but this one has succeeded. A new app, enhanced camera zoom, and a new physical control button is a large number of improvements to implement in a single year. In fact, it's so big of an enhancement, it raises our suspicions quite a little. One should always be wary of rumors, but this one makes several huge assertions that we've not heard about before now. Previous speculations have told us about the telephoto camera being increased to 48 megapixels to match the other 2 rear cameras, and that Apple going to emphasize on video recording for this year's iPhone debut. But while you may view those as supporting evidence of what this leak suggests, there's not a straight correlation between upgrading a camera's quality or a video-first launch and what we've been informed. We'll keep our ears to the ground in case there are further rumors that back this up. Apple's Dynamic Island, that pill-shaped and fully fungible black spot that sits atop your iPhone 16, along with iPhone 15 and iPhone 14 Pro models, is relatively little in the context of things. As measured by me, it normally lies between 22mm and 32mm wide and 6mm deep, unless you touch it, and then it can extend to 7cm wide by over 3cm deep. It's a sometimes useful space, but it's also screen real estate that I'm tired of giving up. Please understand that I'm normally a Dynamic Island fan and wrote about it passionately in 2022. I termed it clever and impressive, but I'm a larger admirer of everything else happening on my iPhone 16 Pro Max screen and grow weary of this quite wide and sometimes mostly dark cutout. I started pondering the future of this space again after a spate of new rumors regarding Apple's possible plans for the iPhone 17. Some think Apple might be attempting to lower the size of the island by decreasing the components stored within it. One of the reasons I appreciate the Dynamic Island is that it is not just dead space, and it's also not all screen. Instead, the Dynamic Island is a brilliant blend of the two. There's a proximity sensor, an infrared projector, aka time of flight sensor, and a 12 megapixels camera. Before the Dynamic Island, there was the True Depth notch, which was debuted with the iPhone X as part of the then new Face ID system. I also love Face ID with all my heart. It's so much more efficient than unlocking your phone, applications, and services with your finger. What Apple did with the Dynamic Island is it relocated the notch down and into the screen space, and then divided it up such that the three components are bisected between the two sensors and the one camera by a tiny amount of active screen. This is how notifications and display components warning you of system activity, a red dot to show you the camera or microphone is active, for instance, appear between the Face ID sensor and the camera lens. I appreciate this effect and how Apple developed all the dynamic island movements to make it appear as if the pill effortlessly grows and shrinks to meet the current purpose. It is all very wonderfully done. Even yet, I want as near a pristine iPhone 17 screen as feasible, what the iPhone display was before the iPhone X. I realize it was smaller and of a lower resolution, but it had no odd notch, not even a cutout. In the world of current edge-to-edge displays, this is almost but not quite a pipe dream. The Samsung Galaxy S24, for instance, features just a tiny drill-through for the front-facing camera. On the internal flexible screen of its Galaxy Z Fold 6, Samsung covers the camera cutout with pixels that disappear when it's time to take a selfie. This is what I want with the iPhone 17. No more half measures to accommodate the true depth module. I want Apple to discover a way to permanently hide Face ID and the proximity sensor behind the display. I wonder whether one of these can be downsized enough to live in the ultra-thin screen bezel. For the 12 megapixels or maybe 48 megapixels front-facing camera, let's take the Samsung method and disguise it with live pixels that shift to transparent when it's selfie time. You might assume this will kill the dynamic island. It might, but the concept of surfacing app status and other activity notifications could be handed over to Siri. Maybe it could sometimes go from the screen around light to a dynamic island-like animation that temporarily shows at the top of the screen. I'd enable it when you shake the phone. Considering that Siri's Apple Intelligence update is expected to provide more third-party app expertise to its digital assistant, I think this makes logical. Even if Apple does away with the actual island and all those little status messages, will we miss it that much? How often do we have to stare at our phones to know what's going on? If the status or activity update is that essential, it should be a notification. A series of unique upgrades that were only available to the more expensive Pro iPhones would be making their way to Apple's whole iPhone 17 lineup, with even the base model and the ultra-thin flagship wearing the Air moniker set to undergo these hardware modifications. Previously, we reported that all four models will be upgraded to LTPO with OLED technology that would provide Pro Motion compatibility, and this time, a new source indicates that these devices will also have the newer M14 panels, with Samsung being the exclusive supplier. What is unexpected is that the Korean company has yet to adopt this technology, as its top-tier Galaxy S25 Ultra arrives with the previous generation M13 model. The M14 OLED update is now present on the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max, and according to ET News, with details spotted by the tipster Jukanos Reeve, Samsung will deliver this panel with a purpose to apply it to all the iPhone 17 models. The report does not indicate why Apple is lowering the quantity of exclusive upgrades for the Pro models. However, it could be related to the shipments suffering a fall despite giving customers greater motivation to spend the extra premium to make the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max their daily car. With the M14 with OLED arriving to even the iPhone 17 and iPhone 17 Air, purchasers who lack the budget to acquire the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max will not be dissatisfied when they spend less money to enjoy the same technology. The existence of M14 has been highlighted by Jukanos Reeve earlier, with the most evident benefit being that this technology boosts the efficiency of the blue emitting layer. This advantage helps to enhance brightness levels by 30% compared to the earlier M13 screens, while also upping the longevity. Samsung is projected to earn greatly by having the status of exclusive supplier for these M14 OLED panels, because the study believes that the Korean powerhouse will provide up to a whopping 90 million units to Apple this year. The only problem of employing more complex displays is that these are created at a higher cost per unit. Thus, it remains to be seen if Apple would absorb the manufacturing overhead and transmit the savings to the customer, or wind up charging a premium for this improvement. One thing we can be pretty positive about is that the iPhone 17 Pro will include a new chipset, one that will most likely be termed the A19 Pro. Not only is an A19 Pro chipset an obvious improvement, but it has also been suggested by many sources. Beyond that, there's a chance that the iPhone 17 Pro will get 12 gigs of RAM, which is something we've heard more than once, and would be an increase on the 8 gigs in the iPhone 16 Pro. However, while many rumors have pointed to 12 gigs, some others say that only the iPhone 17 Pro Max will get this increase. The iPhone 17 Pro might nonetheless get a vapor chamber, which could help it prevent overheating and could potentially increase performance. We've heard this vapor chamber claim from numerous sources now, so it's looking likely. And as for the battery, Apple is apparently exploring utilizing a slimmer and lighter motherboard, which might give up additional space for a larger battery than in the current model. We've also heard that the iPhone 17 Pro could enable reverse wireless charging. Finally, for software, we expect the iPhone 17 Pro to run iOS 26, and this is currently out in beta form, so we know all about it. The headline changed is a whole new look to the interface, but many apps have also been streamlined. A new Apple Games app has been added, and there are improvements to Apple Intelligence. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.